purposefully further away from you.
Have you?
Yeah, I feel
Right,
like I'm
well,
not...
I won't set up the chairs again then if there's going to be a problem.
No,
Christ, you try
problem,
and help.
honestly.
How are you today, dear? I see you're in-law. Well,
In-laws?
Nearly in-laws?
What is that? I don't know what the terminology is. My future son-in-law's parents are in the audience.
Right, okay. Now, for the people listening at home, we have two future in-laws of Jojo's.
Yes.
We have Lenka, who's not paid enough to get Yeezys, and I'll deal with your employer later, Lenka, because I think that's a disgrace. And we've got two of our guests.
Yeah.
When another one who was
Yes.
late for, I mean, he'd be as well being dead because he should be called the late Patrick Monaghan.
He should be called the late
He
Patrick
just has
Monaghan.
no respect for society or other people
Or
or
time.
anything. And do you know what? Even the payoff's not that bit. Actually, I'm not allowing him on. There, I've said it.
Oh, right,
Yeah,
okay.
no, I've
We've
cut him.
boycotted Patrick Monaghan and we haven't even started the show.
And-
I love that. Well, no, we do want him on because I have an inside story, an inside scoop on Patrick Monaghan. So.
Well, he was there the night the transport police tried to jail me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so, you know, is your scoop
Unsuccessfully.
as good as that? No, I didn't think so.
Yeah.
And he's still pulled from the show. I hate him.
Has he? He's not pulled from the show.
Yeah,
oh,
I've just pulled him.
you've pulled
I've just
him.
pulled him.
Sorry.
How are you at the beginning of the week? Are you okay? You're
I'm
looking
all right.
well? You
I'm
seem
looking
fresh?
very
You
well,
feel breezy?
fresh,
Good?
yes. Well slept, well fed, well read.
Well, absolutely, because you read your bag from Greg's that said, this is the cheese and onion pasta you're
Yeah.
about to consume. So, yeah, you're technically Gillian McKeith, Nigella Lawson, and Rick Stein, and Ina. Do you guys know Ina Vagina, Ina Garten, the barefoot Contessa? That lives, so it's a fat woman, because it's always fat women with me. She lives in the Hamptons with Jeffrey, her husband, and we all know what Jeffrey likes.
Oh.
Cock. And Ina's hysterical, because she always goes like that, I'm going to put a cup of half and half in that, and then some Parmesan, and then some real butter. How good is that? And you're like, Ina, why aren't you dead?
I hate it when people can't pronounce things properly. It really irritates me.
Really, yes.
Yeah.
I hate when people say unprecedented when it's unprecedented. That's disgusting.
Yeah.
Not naming names.
No, it's just a habit that people get into. That
It's
is
fairly
wrong.
bad, isn't
I mean,
it?
it's the old tomato, but not as bad as that. Well, worse than that. Sorry.
Well, indeed. Because
I'm
English
drinking
is your
orange
baby.
juice.
You're drinking orange juice, so I hope it stays in for the next 50 minutes. That's why I wouldn't drink orange juice in a live performance environment for fear of it shuttling out on a toboggan run.
Projectile vomit.
I suppose all that hideous pastry and snot-type cheese filling will hold it for a while.
Yes, it'll anchor it down.
Yes, it will anchor. It's a bit like the cuisine equivalent of a Dutch cap. Nothing's coming out, nothing's going in.
I know that.
No. Are we looking for love this week?
Oh, if it turns up, yeah,
If it
100%.
turns up,
Yeah.
If it
But-
turns up and can stay hard, you'll jump on it.
Although, unless it's got its own room, I can't be arsed taking it back to South Queensferry. So
Oh,
you're not listening to this, so I've just
sorry about
remembered
that.
you
Sorry.
said.
You don't. You actually mean a room? I thought you meant cut or uncut. Okay, we'll move on. I thought
right.
we'll deal with that later.
What?
We'll deal with that later. She doesn't think.
I don't
That's the
think
thing.
this is the problem sometimes when my brain's not functioning.
Now,
on all.
that seems to have been a theme
Yes.
since Thursday, since we've begun a non-functioning brain.
Do you know what I think it is? It's because I'm on stage every day talking about growing older. I think I'm
Do you think
giving
it's
I'm giving old age to myself.
So you think it's a self-fulfilling prophecy?
Yes.
You've technically licked the envelope of destiny.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. I keep talking about onset of dementia, and I think I've given him. I think it's catching. I think I've caught dementia.
Very briefly, I'm going back to another show. How was Alistair Barry in the car on Saturday?
I saw him last night and told him we talked about him and said we were going to call him the Alistair Barry podcast.
Should we get him on?
Yeah, absolutely, we should get him on, 100%. And then he immediately said, was Bruce being rude about me? And I went, of course not.
No. Right.
So rude.
Okay.
So rude,
Well,
so
that's
rude.
good then. That's good. Now, shall we have some guests?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. We've got a transatlantic vibe today. I'm very
Well,
excited.
I overheard that they already know each other and they met in either Nashville or New York.
I know. It's
One of
like the
the
Taylor
ends,
Swift fan club, the
isn't it?
Swifties.
Yeah.
On acid. And Taylor's in a lot of trouble because she keeps getting a plane from her house to like the American equivalent of the Lidl. She's going to the Whole Foods. Yeah, but she's only on the plane for like 12 minutes. I'd love that amount of money.
I would.
Yeah.
And I would do
So
that.
I'd get a chopper from Granton Harbour to the Granton Lidl, and I'd demand everyone was flushed out so I could buy their deluxe piccolo tomatoes.
You won't necessarily know South Queensferry where I live. Well, you do. So I used to live just under the bridge.
It's kind of like the Hamptons if it had gone through nuclear war.
But I used to live under the bridge.
As what? A troll?
No, a troll under the
Clip
bridge.
clop.
And the high street bit was
Billy Groat's
closed.
muff.
I used to drive up to the road closed sign and then
Pissed.
park there and then and then go to the shops because I couldn't be arse walking. I'd drive.
Why were you
300
living
yards.
under the bridge? Were you in a house? You weren't like that woman who was in the field.
No, I wasn't. No, it was a house that was built under the bridge.
It was a house under the bridge. Was that not noisy with locomotives?
Very.
Very noisy
But
indeed.
one of those things, actually, strangely, like aeroplanes, if you live in places like that, you suddenly don't notice it after a while.
No, especially when at that period, I presume you'd given up on life and you were just going through the motions.
Absolutely, yeah. 3 children under 5 and no hope.
Oh, wow. Right, we'll move on. Let's have our first guest. It's just, I don't want to fall asleep just yet. Sam Morrison, can we invite you up? Give him a round of applause. Hello, Sam. I'm enjoying your blouse.
Hello, Sam. Lovely to meet you.
Hi.
This is a first for me.
And another of our guests that have chosen to wear ochre. There's been 3 people. A rapacious author, half of Morrison Parker, she had on ochre culottes, and you're wearing this, it's almost a braille blouse, because there's texture, isn't it?
There is.
Do the
Oh, let
dots
me
make-
feel you.
It's the blouse of monkeypox.
Oh,
Oh, I'm off for my vaccine later. Oh my God, when does life become art? How fabulous. And you're very hairy as well. Yes, enjoying it all. How are you, Sammy? All right?
clearly not. I don't know what we... It's just, I mean, I don't know if you knew what to expect. I'd say expect nothing, Sam. Just,
obviously.
Just talk.
Yeah.
Just reply.
Well, I'm trying.
How are you? How are you?
I am overwhelmed. How are you?
I feel that way quite a
Yeah.
lot. Where did the monkeypox blouse come from?
Well, I was at the Dick Dock in Provincetown. And no, I got it. I got it at a clothing swap. Do you know what one of those are?
Yeah.
No,
I
she
do.
does, because
Of course
she's
I
below
do.
the breadline.
Yeah, I love a clothing swap.
Under the bridge, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where they happen.
Yeah.
No, a bunch of people bring their old clothes together, and then we swap them. And this one was fantastic because it was 500 women in Brooklyn, and there weren't any men allowed. But then I came in and was like, "Hey, can I come?" And they were like, "Yeah, that's fine." So I came in and took all their old clothes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Is
Did you
it
have to
So
pay
this is
anything?
another comedian's. I don't know who, but probably someone
Who
with
does the blouse
monkeypox.
look like?
What does look like?
I'm
Which
gonna-
comedian?
Yeah, I'm going to try and identify the comedian.
Perfect. This is good for a podcast.
Absolutely. It's all to make people think.
Yeah.
And try and encourage them to come
and
in.
watch, yes.
Because as you can see, they're all at home flicking their beans.
No,
so
this is a full. Is that your audience? Just lonely, masturbatory people?
I think, well, there's a lot of people due to the cost of living crisis who are living on delusion and masturbation alone, and not even a cup of noodles.
Apparently everyone's gone back to cash because of the cost of living crisis and so that they can keep an eye on the pennies that they're spending.
Goodness, that was left field, wasn't it?
It's informative sometimes, this podcast.
Are you packing cash on this trip?
That sounds like something
It does
someone would
sound
ask me on
that
Grindr or
really-
something, right? Are you packing cash? No, I'm a bottom. I don't know. I do have cash,
You
and I
do
just
have
found
cash.
out it's outdated. Actually,
Outdated cash.
yeah, I tried to use it, and then they were like, "We don't use it anymore," because I had it from 2019 because I'm so responsible and don't have undiagnosed ADHD, Dad. So I had that money, and then I kept it for 3 years, and I brought it back, and they were like, "It's no longer welcome."
Is that because it's paper and not plastic?
I think so. I mean,
And
you
this
would
is-
know.
This is the other interesting thing. Sorry, I'm just thinking of things today. You know how we're trying to get rid of plastic. Why are we making notes out of plastic now instead of paper? Surely paper was more biodegradable than plastic.
Let's
Wow.
save climate change tonight.
My God, I know Greta, and I have her on speed dial because I had to shield her from something today. It was a paper straw in a plastic bag. She was going off her head. I said, Greta, just calm down, blah, blah, blah. And then she fell back asleep. I do believe that her aims are admirable, but I just think, oh, hen, why don't you have a fucking life? Seriously.
Well, I'm sure she gets tons of pussy.
Do you? Do you think she's into
she's
that?
a lesbian?
Was that a weird thing to say?
No.
We can edit that out, right?
please.
No, we can't. If you don't want to,
Don't
broadcast,
be
don't say it. Go straight out. No,
Do you know-
we don't edit anything, mate.
Do you
Nothing.
know-
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the best fun.
No,
So-
this is worth ruining my career.
Yeah,
honestly.
absolutely.
This
100%.
is such a joy.
This is why we do it.
Yeah.
It's to bring everybody down because we're bitter.
Well, you might be.
No, I've decided to become a serious journalist now. That's why I'm saying intelligent observations.
Sorry, can I just go back to Greta and what she likes to dine on? I didn't necessarily get a lesbian vibe. I found her to be very asexual.
No comment?
Oh, look, don't look at... The bear is hardly a fucking bastion of morality at the door, so don't look at him as
What'd
though
you call
got...
him?
The bear?
Like gay bears.
Well, are you blind? What the fuck do you think that is?
Well, it's just weird. It's like me pointing at someone else and being like, the tall gay comedian.
Oh, he didn't turn up. He must be late. Lenka, can you put in a call? I think that's our last guest. Only joking, Lenka. You have to relax. She's very upset because she can't get the right shoes. Now, you discussed daddy issue. Your show's called Daddy Issues.
Yeah.
Why do you have them?
No. Sorry, the show's not called Daddy Issues.
Is it
Where'd
not?
You get that?
You discuss daddy issues in the show?
No.
You don't?
No.
Nathan, you're
Nathan?
fired.
Nathan!
The
Nathan's
the fucking bear.
Fucking...
The fucking bear.
But would you not identify as a bear? That's what I was trying to get at earlier.
No.
Okay.
No, it seems too easy. I won't do it.
Me neither.
No, I'm a Greta sympathiser.
So, Sam, if you don't have a show about daddy's issues and it's not called Daddy Issues, who... Oh, right. Well, who the
So
fuck-
there was daddy in the thing. Thank you. My God, it's a Monday. Sam, you're being very provoking. Sugar daddy. Do you have a sugar daddy?
No.
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 Do you know why? Because a sugar daddy wouldn't have let you out in that monkeypox blouse. He would have said, fucking behave.
I get so many compliments on this.
It's a nice colour.
The woman told me she got it for $3.
Oh,
and how
wow,
much
you're
did you?
really
You
interested.
just swapped it. Yes, absolutely. But you just swapped it, so you got it for nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, you're the winner.
I am the winner.
Oh no! So yes, sugar daddy.
Sugar daddy.
Sugar daddy.
Sugar daddy.
Sugar daddy. Do you want one?
it's
Do
a
you
show-
have one?
No, I don't have one. I don't want one. It's God. The problem with this fucking show title,
Because you're misleading people, Sam.
It's
You're
so
misleading
bad
people.
because I'm misleading
Yeah.
people. Everyone comes and is like, "Oh, I want to see a show about a sugar daddy," and it's like, no, it's actually a pun in the show based off because I have type 1 diabetes, and then my partner died, and then so it kind of connects the two things, and they're like, "Okay, I'm gonna go. Thank you so much for attempting to talk to me about it." But no,
Oh wow! How did your partner die?
let's get into that.
Yeah.
COVID.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay, no, don't, no. I can ask questions. I'm not a lunatic. Jesus Christ. So, how old was he, and what happened?
He got COVID. He was 52.
Oh, so he was a sugar daddy.
No, he was not a sugar daddy.
All right,
we were
okay.
very much in love.
Oh.
Yeah.
You can be in love with a sugar daddy.
So he wasn't a sugar
wasn't
daddy.
a
We've had that
sugar
3
daddy.
times now. So Sam, anyway, Dr. Martens, nice. Are they comfortable?
What's happening? Is this a trap?
No, it's not a
No,
trap.
not at
So
all.
anyway, you talk of the death of your partner.
Yeah, I do.
And he succumbed to COVID. Were there any underlying health conditions or any of that kind of stuff?
No.
Just gone from that. And how recent was that?
February 2021.
Wow.
Yeah.
And why did you decide to do that in a show? Because obviously that's incredibly personal.
Yeah.
And not everyone would do it, and it's totally up to the individual. But do you not find that? I have a friend who does a collection for her sister that passed, and every night they're raising money for cancer and all this kind of stuff. And although I think that that's great, I just wondered about the healing process, because I'm not saying that you have to forget about people or anything like that, but it's to kind of compartmentalize it. So if you're living through that again for 27 nights, for argument's sake,
Yeah, no, it's like
you don't find it like that.
It's not about his death. It's not a sad show. It's I get to talk about Jonathan, and I get to share Jonathan with people.
Nice.
And that honestly is precious for me. I love doing that. And I also I tried doing other comedy, and it just felt crazy. Like, you know, you
because
write what you think about, right? And you talk about what you think about.
And what you're going through in that situation, if you ignore it, then you're lying to yourself.
Something like that is so all-encompassing that if you go up there and just talk about, I don't know, how annoying tops are, then it's like it's not going to. It just felt insane for me. And I did that for a long time, by the way. I only started doing this kind of material like 6 or 7 months ago.
Oh, wow.
And then
my favourite word, which is disingenuous. It would feel disingenuous if you went on stage and didn't talk about him, because it's been such a huge thing.
Why is that your favourite word?
Because so many people are.
I am.
No, because so many people are disingenuous.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it frustrates the hell out of me.
Yeah.
That people don't actually open up and talk about and say what they actually mean, and they, so yeah, I think it's
right.
I think it's better comedy as well.
Yeah,
if you're talking
also,
about in the moment, do you know what I mean? We live in the moment and we kind of repackage it and present it back out again.
Yeah, exactly.
And it can be very powerful and very cathartic.
It absolutely is. I mean, it has helped me so much being able to talk about it on stage, because I'm not as good at talking about it off stage, but I can really do it on stage because,
And the sugar, so did you say you were diabetic? Are you type 1, type 2?
Type 1.
So what age were you? Because my best friend, actually, who's sadly no longer here, was type 1 and was diagnosed when she was 13 and had diabetes for well over 50 years, which is quite extraordinary to have it for that length of time.
Yeah.
So how old were you when you found out you had it?
I got it almost exactly a year ago.
Wow.
I know. So I was 26. And it's usually people are diagnosed when they're younger, but a lot of people get diagnosed in their 20s.
Yeah.
And I think technically there's a term like late onset juvenile diabetes, but I got diabetes, and that's also so funny,
Well, the Sugar Sisters, they had diabetes, didn't they?
That's correct, yeah.
Ditto.
And do you have one of those things on your arm now that you can...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
I got one of the things in my arm. I got another one on my back.
Oh,
I got
okay.
the glucose monitor and the pump. Motherfucker.
It's like you are cupping.
I know.
Like I'm what?
Cupping. You know
Cupping
when people
who?
get all the... No. You know Gwyneth Paltrow gets cupping. I don't think anyone cups her.
Oh, sure.
No, because I think like her candle, her hoo-ha could go up at any given moment. But so you've got one of those permanent polo mints on.
Yes, permanent polo mints.
Yes.
Although I'm very good if I see... I know I can recognise someone having a
Oh,
hypo.
drink your juice, Shelby.
No, take a Lucozade or have a little Snickers if you're having a hypo. I know what to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Having a hypo. Girl, you know.
I do know, sister.
Oh my God. See, the funny thing is when type 1 diabetics get together, it's a fucking party. Like, there are no fans I have that are as rabid as type 1. I've been doing like vulnerable queer comedy for like 5 years now, but now I see a type 1 diabetic in the crowd. They're like, what brand of insulin do you have? Tell me everything. They're so excited.
Yeah,
Is it a bonding thing?
Is it a what?
A bonding experience.
It's very bonding.
Very bonding.
It's very affirming.
Very bonding. Where do you have to watch your alcohol intake?
Oh, yeah.
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 And the times that you
alcohol
eat.
makes you go low. So now what I have to do is I just have to have very sugary drinks. Oh, no.
Ah, a sugary mixer.
A sugary mixer, apple cider, anything.
Oh, wow. 9 bottles of wine. There's a lot of sugar in
A
that.
lot of sugar and wine.
Yeah.
Basically just can't have vodka soda.
Oh, well, that's fair enough. You're not missing anything. Get into gin. It's so much nicer. Is this your first Edinburgh?
No, I did it in 2019 with a show called Hello, Daddy.
Oh.
Was
there's a
very
theme.
similar.
Oh, only 5 years
the whole
late
thing
with the
was about
research.
how I don't have daddy issues. Where did you get daddy issues?
Well, clearly you do, because you keep putting daddy in the title.
No, I don't. That's the point. Is I fuck older guys. I'm attracted to gray hairs and big bellies, and it's not about my fucking dad.
Oh.
I know. Did you see how defensive I got?
Oh,
Yeah.
girl, you
I
have
think
to
we-
relax.
I
Chill
think there's a
out,
lot
bitch.
to unpack here.
Oh, of course. Two solo shows worth of
I
material, in
think
fact.
we're denying daddy issues. I think that is the root of the problem here.
Great. Let's get into it right now.
Oh my God, Dr. Ruth is in session.
Is your father still alive?
Yeah.
Good. No further questions.
No further questions. Fantastic.
Oh, look, he's flashing as I can't bear it.
Yeah, that
I'm
was
not
the
done
gayest
with
little
Sam.
flash I've ever seen.
Well, let's
barely
get
have-
another question then.
I barely started on him.
I don't think
God.
he wants you to start on him, in all honesty. If you have another sensible question, ask him.
No.
You don't. Right,
I
okay.
did have a set. No, I don't. No, I did. Where is your show on?
At Gilded Balloon at 6:20,
Okay, which room?
balcony room.
Balcony,
It's
very
Gilded
nice.
Balloon, the TViot.
Yes.
Heaviot.
Yes.
TViot?
I'm there as well.
'cause you're there as
I'm
well.
in the sportsman's.
Oh.
So we're,
She's near the
What time
gents'
are you?
toilets.
4:45.
Oh, so I'll see you as I get out of my show one of these
Certainly,
days.
absolutely. I'll be in the bar. Always.
I'm sure we have the... Are you also going for daddy bears and type 1 diabetics?
Oh, I'm going for
Because
anything
we are
that moves
competing.
at the moment.
Yeah, I know.
She actually just wants set on fire and pumped.
Why do I want set on fire?
Just to save you having to go out for a cigarette all the time. You just set fire
that's
to
true.
yourself and inhale. I've
Yeah.
said that in 2 days on the trot now, and I stand by it. It's going to be, actually, are you here until the end of the month?
Yeah, oh yeah.
It's just Bear Scots is going to be on.
No, when's that? What is that? I'm
That's a
horny
load of
already.
bears in one room.
When?
The 29th
Oh,
of
fuck
August.
Off. It's the 29th?
It's the 29th.
I fly out at like 6 a.m. the next morning. Are you playing me off?
Oh my
How dare
God!
You who got my title wrong?
Oh, she got everything
playing me?
wrong. Do you know something? Do not have sex with her.
No.
That's her punishment.
Oh no.
Sam, thank you so much.
everything
Can we have a
out
round of
of
Sam.
applause?
Thank you for having me.
Thank you
what a
so
lovely,
much.
borderline traumatizing talk.
Oh,
we go.
lovely.
Lovely,
well,
lovely,
that's
lovely.
a nice review, isn't it? A borderline traumatization.
I don't think that's what we're really going for, Jojo. I think we'll discuss this in the meeting post-show about technique. Now, are we ready for our next guest?
Oh, we certainly are
Now,
indeed.
I can't pronounce her surname, so I'm not going to insult her, but it's Anya. I want a huge round of applause.
Yay!
There we go. Come on, dear. Hello.
Hugging her way to the stage. Hello, darling. We meet.
Ready to do a
I
quick
think
set?
he did
I
that
just-
as a protest.
I think it was.
I think it was a dirty protest extending the thing.
a standing taller.
How do you pronounce your surname? Because I hate when people get mine wrong, so I didn't
No,
attempt
that's
to
okay.
pronounce yours.
Aliya Kanani.
Nani.
Kanani,
Right?
yeah.
Kanani.
Yeah.
Oh, like cannoli.
I'm so happy you said that, not
There
the
we
other word it rhymes
go.
with.
Well, I'm dyslexic, so I go for things I recognise. Don't fucking judge me, bitch, because you'll cry. How are you?
I'm good.
Are
How
you all right? Because we've been talking about salsa, 4 a.m. leftover reheats.
So much.
Lovely stuff.
So
Are you
much.
enjoying Edinburgh?
I'm loving Edinburgh. I'm loving it. This is everybody's so friendly
And
here.
this is your first one, isn't it?
Yes, my very first time here.
Oh, no, everybody is very friendly to your face. It's behind your back.
No,
you
that's
need
what
to watch.
yeah. That's the perfect thing. I'm the same way, so I feel right at home.
No,
it's
people
great.
are. It's great.
Yeah.
Did you know what to expect? What was your kind of expectations of what Edinburgh would be like?
You know what? Honestly, I was kind of just coming in very open-minded. Everybody I've ever met from Scotland has been really friendly, but I've always been very hesitant to like judge a country based on the people that you meet on your travels because they don't necessarily like represent the place. They represent what travelers are like.
Yes,
You
no,
know what I mean?
absolutely. And some of the travellers that we send abroad are quite unpleasant. Honestly.
Well, I mean, the ones that I run into were always just so friendly. So I was like, okay, I think this is gonna go well, you know, especially because I've always been sort of inclined to the humor and the sensibilities of folks from you know the UK as well. So I thought it would be a good match, and so far so good. Yeah.
Are you one of these Americans that clearly has some weird history to the 13th century in Bannockburn and all that kind of stuff? You know, when you go into like McDonald's in Times Square and you say to the server, can I have a double quarter pounder with cheese? And they go, I'm from Scotland as well. And you think, Right, okay, that's fine. Can I just have my fries and can I go? Are you one of these people that feel... Because that does happen,
Sorry,
doesn't it?
what was the question?
You've only to fucking break wind in tartan and suddenly they're your
Absolutely.
third cousin, fourth removed.
And somebody will say, if you're from Scotland, I mean, it is literally that. Oh, do you know Jean that lives in Broughty Ferry? That'll be.
And I do actually. I do know Jean, and she makes a killer tikka masala. She really does. She's famed for it. She's a swinger. Now it's interesting. We're talking about identity because your show is called "Where Are You From?"
Yeah.
Now I had never heard that. I was doing a radio show with a broadcaster called Shireen Nanjiani, who is Kumar Nanjiani's cousin. Is his name Kumar? Who's the actor?
Yes. Come on.
You know who I mean? He's a Marvel guy, I think. So Shireen was very groundbreaking in this country because she was the first woman of colour that was an anchor for news. And I remember it was something to do with someone had asked whoever the Macker, which is the poet laureate, who happened to be a woman of colour but spoke with a Scottish accent. And if I was speaking to her, I would have said, so where are you from? Meaning, which part of Glasgow are you from? Yeah. But what they meant was, where are you from in as much as you're not indigenous to the Pollokshaws Road, which I think is outrageous, by the way, because having rolled around the Pollokshaws Road, anyone is indigenous to the Pollokshaws Road. I took magic mushrooms and shat myself, but more of that later. Well, actually, that's the story. But... do you get that a lot? You can't be American, you have to be from somewhere else? Because I just think that's ridiculous.
I mean, I do, but I'm not American. I live in Canada.
Canada, right. Well, God, that's even worse, isn't it?
So that's the worst.
You know what I mean, though.
Mistake me for
You know what I mean.
Sam's gone, but I'll tell you, they're
Oh,
terrible.
Sam. I think Sam's booked in for therapy.
With me.
Sam.
I think we unveiled some issues right there. You know, honestly, when you were so convincing, I'm like, maybe I have daddy issues too.
Well, the thing, do you know what I really wanted to ask him, right? And I might tweet him. If he's 26 and he's attracted to 52-year-olds, who's he pumping when he's 52? Yeah? Yeah. Oh, that's
good
deep, isn't it?
question.
Yeah. Lube up for that one. Do you see what I mean, though?
I just love pumping as a verb.
Oh, okay.
Who are you pumping?
Have you been pumped?
So I'm going to ask people from now on. This is how I'm
But
going to approach them.
interestingly, that expression, where are you from, I think it is particularly Scottish, that Scottish people always, you know,
Yeah.
if I'm comparing it at a gig, I'll always go, oh, what's your name, where are you from?
Yeah.
And it's, but never ever crosses my mind that it would mean from
the
another
from.
country.
Well, you
just
know-
like, where are you living now?
Yeah,
Where are you
totally,
from? Where
totally.
is now?
The gutter.
Yes.
Or under the bridge.
Look at you with a call back.
Hey,
Book
No
her
big
back.
deal. No, thank you.
I don't
Thank
care
you.
where she's from. She's funny.
she can stay.
Thanks, guys. You know what? Here's the thing: is I've moved around my whole life, so the "Where You From" story is something that's kind of traveled with me. You know what I mean? I changed 10 schools growing up. I moved a ton, and then after that, I was a flight attendant, so I was constantly in like other countries and
I
traveling.
can
and
see her as a
Yeah.
flight attendant, can't
Have you
you?
watched
really
The Flight
good.
Attendant?
No, I haven't.
Oh my God.
I know, people
I'm
keep
coming
telling me.
round. You'll really enjoy it watching it with me. It's
Okay.
fabulous.
Okay,
Yes.
I'm ready. I'll bring the salsa.
Oh, do. We can talk about that in a moment. She chops her own tomatoes. So anyway, you were flight attendant for which airline?
So I was flying for Air Canada,
Uh-huh.
and I was doing that for over a decade. So that's the thing. Like I've always been like a very displaced human. Like I never am where I belong, and so I get the "Where you from" questions all the time. But it's really just quite funny for me because it's like it just depends on where I am, what people expect as the answer. You know, like I can say Canada when I'm abroad, but when I'm in Canada, I can't say Canada because now they want to know where like my background is from. You know what I mean? And the from. And it's people ask from, but I hear the implied from.
Okay.
You know, and that's sort of, you
And
know.
is that
but
partly your own kind of, because it's happened so often that you immediately go to that?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
is it partly that somebody might not mean that at all, but you automatically assume?
Possibly as well, you know. But I mean, and I talk about this in my show. It's not that I mind the question, you know, and I've never minded the question. It's just, it's such a complicated question to answer in my case, firstly. And secondly, it's literally the question I've been asked the most in my life. If you take all the questions I've ever been asked and put them in a, you know what I mean, on one end and then put the "Where you from's on the other. So I talk about this in my show about how I used to get so bored, you know, getting asked that question all the time that I used to just make up answers. And that's kind of
And
how I got
entertain
into
yourself with things that
and entertain myself.
Yeah.
And so it was by accident that I kind of just became a storyteller just out of boredom with like this imagination of a little girl who was like tired of answering the same questions over and over again.
I'm going to go very deep again. I think as a comedian as well, is it not that thing? We feel like outsiders, but we also feel that we never belong somewhere.
Totally. You know what, Jojo? Like, this is going to be real cheesy, but I wrote this show trying to talk about like this idea of my identity and how it's very complicated, and like how maybe we're not all made up of like labels. Maybe there's more to us than what people want to identify as. And I talk about everything. I talk about not just like race and background, but I talk about like sexual identity, about gender, about age, about all of these identifying factors. And I that idea of like that otherness, which I did, kind of think that I was going to talk about. It's like this idea of like some of us don't belong and some of us are others. I realized that so many people feel that way.
Yeah.
And actually in just different, maybe people judge you because of your age or your occupation or your gender or your sexual preferences and, like who you like to pump,
I'm over.
Oh, we're
pumping
always
at the
judging him on who he pumps.
No. I'm on a pumping hiatus. at the
Are
moment.
you? I'm sad for you.
I'm too tired.
And I'm sad for all the people that could be being pumped by you.
They
Wow,
want to be
terrible.
pumped.
You're too handsome to
Let's
not be
phone them.
pumping.
They might want to watch the flight attendant.
A little salsa, a little pump, a little.
Beef or chicken. How far did you go up? What were you promoted to? Were you like a chief purser?
Yeah. Oh, look at you with the
I
my
know.
God, with the lingo, the
yeah,
chief purser.
absolutely.
Yeah. I did do all of that stuff.
I
yeah.
could imagine that. Did you ever get into the training? Because I would imagine that you'd be a good trainer.
They tried to get me into the training so
Not for you.
often. Oh no! I mean, I'd love it. Like it was funny because in training class, look, I never planned on being a comedian. You need to know this. This was never my plan. But I was always that funny girl, and so we'd be in training class, and I'd always be making people crack up. Sometimes my jokes were very inappropriate.
Sounds familiar.
I'm surprised I wasn't fired for some of the shit that I said. And there was a training class. This is terrible. I shouldn't repeat this into a mic when I already regretted saying it the first time, but now it's too late. We're already there. We were doing first aid training, and they were, God, what am I doing? Okay, they were doing first aid training, and we were talking about how you have to announce to the person that you're assisting, I'm a first aider, can I help you? Right? Before you assist them. And I said, well, what if the person's unconscious? And they said, well, if they're unconscious, it's implied consent.
Implied.
And I was like, I know some.
Implied consent.
I was like,
It's
I made a Bill Cosby joke. Listen, it was a long story.
no, it's so funny.
I
because,
couldn't help myself.
Yes, there was a piece in the paper not so long ago.
Bear is like covering his eyes. He's like, she seems so nice, and then this happened.
Bear
We were
number
talking about salsa, and then she took a left.
So, can I ask, because we'll move away from that, because I was going to out someone and that could be libelous.
Well, I just outed Bill.
Guess who don't sue?
Oh, hiya. When someone dies on a plane, do you just have to throw a blanket over them?
You know what? Honestly, we never went that far, but you were supposed to actually, the truth is if somebody dies, you're supposed to treat them as if they're alive because you are not trained to announce life or death. So even if you're giving CPR and this person is clearly dead, you still have to keep giving CPR.
No, I just mean, so say someone dies, so say I'm on the plane and I've died in the seat and you don't throw a blanket on me like a budgie, so do you just pretend to give me a gin and tonic then just to keep everyone, that's what I meant.
Little for you, little for my dead homies. Oh, too soon, too soon.
I think you've had enough, sir.
Oh, what happened? He was reeking of salsa. How do you make your salsa? I'm very interested.
Okay, so listen, I gotta say, I can't even take credit for the salsa. So I don't normally make salsa, but there's this lovely fruit market near where I live, and I started talking to James, the lovely man that works there. And so every time I go in there, I'm a big produce person.
Are you real foods? That
I love my fruit. I know, I do. I also like.
I like fruit.
I eat junk food all the time, but I
Right.
can't survive without like a little fresh fruit. Anyway, so I'm in this fruit market enough that I've been here for a week, but I've gone in there maybe 5 times. And I saw these tortilla chips, and I was like, "Ooh, do you have any salsa here?" And he goes, "What do you mean? Do we have salsa?" And I was like, "Well, like salsa. Do you have salsa?" And he's like, "Oh, honey, I make salsa. We don't, and I'm like, excuse me, Mr. Hoity-toity.
So
And
this
then-
man was gay. I'm getting a vibe.
I mean, possibly.
Clearly.
Possibly.
Clearly.
But then he went on. He's like, "Do you want me to show you?" And I was like, "Yeah." So he got me all these ingredients, and so then I went back and I was my flatmate and I was making the salsa, and he comes in, and at this point he's like 4 Hennessy's deep, and he's like. But he's a really, really good cook. And he goes, "Can I give you a hand?" I'm like, "Sure." And he grabs out soy sauce. And I wanted to slap him, but I let him go ahead. And he put soy sauce in there and all seasoning spice. And I'm like, what is happening? I put a can of tomatoes, and then I chopped up onions, jalapenos, and garlic. And then I had this moment, I don't know, maybe he inspired me with the soy sauce, and I was like, okay, we can do anything we want. Let's not limit ourselves to James's recipe. And I put apricots in there, you guys.
Oh, wow. That's
honestly,
very Moroccan.
It was so good. I'm like right now,
Salivating.
I ate so much of the salsa. I feel like I'm going to have an ulcer from the acid.
It's ironic the guy that owns the fruit shop is fruit, that sleeps with fruit, that handles fruit. I mean, that's fruit thrice. That's a commitment to being a fruit.
I just wanted to check some of the technical things here. Where did he show you how to make this salsa?
He explained it to me in the shop. And helped me gather the ingredients.
I got that you went back to a flat vibe, and I thought, God, you'd like a recipe.
No, don't judge the guests by your very low standards. She was with a lovely homo who was trying to get her 5 a day, and she went back with it. Did you not hear he was 4 Hennessy's in? I've been paying attention.
Thank you.
What was the mixer?
What's that?
Was there a mixer, or was he just having them neat, the Hennessy's?
He drinks his Hennessy neat. I was having rum and cokes because
In the shop.
No! God,
Where
we've
has
left the shop.
The dementia's kicking
we
in
left
again.
The shop
Is
last
this the
year.
dementia?
The shop's
Is this Jojo?
I'm confused.
Do you know where you are?
Not really.
The shop has gone under because of the cost of living crisis. That's how old this anecdote is now. The man is homeless and in recession. Oh, jeez. I mean, I like a laugh, but honestly, it's too much, isn't it? Do you discuss recipes and hints and tips and things in the show?
No, I don't. I really should.
feel you should.
I should do a whole show on it. I have so many good tips and tricks. Like, okay, can I tell you a really good
Please
one that
do.
saved somebody's life once?
Yes.
Oh, not the person on the plane that was dead.
No, not that dead guy.
Oh, we've
He
moved
had
on.
it coming. He wouldn't take his headsets off. I'm just saying. That's
Little bitch.
terrible. No, I told some friends of mine that, when you cook spicy food, if you ever get, because I do this, I've got very big eyes, things get into them a lot, right? So I get spice in my eyes all the time. Like I'll be sometimes like cutting a jalapeno and it'll like squirt in my eye and you're like, oh God, this is not pleasant, right? But the best way to counter something spicy is a dairy product, right?
Yep.
So if you're ever eating very spicy food, you can eat yogurt with it.
Drink milk.
If you're ever got like a chili in your eye because you rubbed your eye after eating hot wings, you can just dab a cloth in some milk and put it up against your eye. It instantly removes the pain.
Oh, okay.
So a friend of mine, Camille, calls me one day and she goes, Aliya, your dairy spice tricks saved me. And I was like, oh yeah, what happened? And she's like, well, I was with my boyfriend.
Oh, no.
And we had made fajitas that night, right? we have a theme. We have like a fajita and salsa theme. So she's like, we made fajitas, and I didn't realize because I chopped up these jalapenos, and later on, after a few sangrias, we went.
Oh.
And she goes, and I went down on him, and his dick was like on fire. And she's like, and I ran to the kitchen, and I grabbed a pot of yogurt and dipped it in there. Saved his life, and I'm like, I am a champion. Like, I need to share these.
Oh my
tricks
God!
with
A
people.
round of applause.
Absolutely.
You guys, honestly.
Oh, saving the world one cock at a time.
One cock at a
Absolute- What a
time.
fabulous solution.
I'm out here doing my part. That's all I'm saying. If anybody, I want like a good Samaritan badge for this or something. It's like explain to people, what did you do? I saved a dick. I saved a man's dick that was
God, you're
on fire.
technically like Goop. You're Gwyneth Sight, but for an alternative lifestyle. Fabulous. What time are you on and where, my darling?
I'm at the Tron at 7:40 p.m. every night except for the 15th. I have one day off, but 7:40 every night at the Tron. And come to my show. I'm so proud of it. I'm really excited to share it with people. Yeah.
Cool.
And the show is called, just for the listeners?
The show is called Where You From.
And you are from this podcast to your show, bitch, with hints and tips for saving genitalia.
Got you, baby.
Oh, marvelous. Can we have a round of applause.
Hey.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you
Oh, lovely
so
to meet
much.
you, Dom.
I know.
Right.
Oh, it's that time again.
We've got one left.
We've got one
I
left.
dealt with this on Saturday.
Oh, have you already had to deal with
I've
her?
had to deal with it. It was late. There's a surprise. I genuinely didn't know who was coming on. I went, I don't know who it is. All I heard was, it's Ken Dodd. And then at the end, he went, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for your host, Julian Clary. So, can we have Patrick Monaghan? Oh, wearing sky blue. Come on. There we go. Oh,
The ages.
So long. Do you know the reason why I'm late? Do you know the reason why I'm late? Because I had my penis in a pot of yogurt, and I was like trying to wash it for about 10 minutes.
was it one of those Activia yogurts?
Yeah, one of that TV. And I just, actually, to be honest, it was a mull of rice, so I had to wait to put the mix in. And I went through
God, it
about
wasn't-
12 of them. I just thought, do you know what? Just keep doing
At
it.
least it wasn't the ones with the Rice Krispies.
Yeah.
Because you've got those all by yourself.
Oh,
Don't
God,
they?
it
They're
would look like I've
natural.
got monkeypox.
Oh
Could you
my
imagine?
God, it's everywhere.
It is everywhere.
Are
Well,
you
I
worried?
don't have it.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
but you're not a gay or bisexual man. Patrick's both.
Absolutely.
I
I think the
He's
last
always
time
late.
Thank you.
I think the last time I saw you was in a tent in Aberdour or something.
Oh, yeah, do you
Wasn't
remember?
it?
Oh my goodness. That was in, Fife. Was it
Yes, in Fife
wasn't
somewhere.
it? Yeah, it was
Aberdour
Aberdour.
Comedy Festival. Those are two words
And it was
that don't go together.
Yeah, before we were coming up to the Edinburgh Festival, because that's what you need, don't you? If your show's not ready, what you need to do is come and do your last show in a field with a tent where it's not soundproofed, with 500 people who've been absolutely hammered.
Out all day,
They were
yeah.
drinking
Yeah.
all day.
And it'll really give you confidence boost.
Yeah,
won't it, for your
exactly.
show?
Yeah, here's my show, and then they were just throwing chairs, and it was a good gig though.
It was all right.
Apart from the violence, and
Yeah, and the
Wow.
occasional stabbing.
That seems to follow you around.
yeah, exactly.
Violence and the police.
Do you know, I have never been in trouble with the police since I did a gig with this man on the train, right, with Bruce, and ever since then, I constantly the police.
Which wasn't my fault.
No, it wasn't your fault at all.
That really was. All
No.
joking aside, and I've discussed this previously. So, long shot, I was
Yeah.
doing a promo gig on a train, and it's all to do with a dwarf, and I'm going to say that, and I stand by that, who's a nasty woman. And there was a lawyer, and there was a group of law students, and everything. It was advertised. This is a
Yeah.
promo thing for our festival, right?
Yeah.
If you don't want to be in here, go to the other bar car, right? So anyway, I got up, whatever, was speaking to these law students and their law professor. All I'd say to one was, oh, thank goodness I'm not the only other Jessie here. I'm normally the only fag on tour. Ha, 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 ha.
Yeah.
And they tried to do me for... aggravated and sustained homophobic abuse under a Section 5 public order. But in England, because they knew if they did that in Scotland, that would be thrown out.
Right, yeah.
Because they were trying to say it was a breach of the peace. But I had to go to Carlisle. I had to be fingerprinted.
No.
I had to have a lawyer, seriously.
Madness.
And the guy went like that to me, went, right, I'm not being funny. And I thought, have you ever? And he went like that, I've never heard of you. And I went, well, bitch, I've never heard of you. Hurry up. But the funny thing was, that was a whole hour, because he went, do you play Subbuteo with yourself? Is that something you said? And I said,
What?
Football. No, I said, I did ask a woman if she flicked her own bean. So if you're getting that wrong. But then we all made friends, and they drove us to Marks and Spencer's, and me and Julianne got loads of rosé wine, because we're very straight acting, and then went to a Fringe launch. But that was horrendous.
Do you know what? The police called me in, so I had to go in when I went back down to London, and then I had to go to King's Cross police station. I didn't even know there was a police station there. And the woman, the police lady, interviewed me all about this, exactly what you're doing. She was actually really nice, and when I was chatting to her, she was really interested in the comedy, and I was telling her about you, and she was going, "This is absolutely mental." So hang on, he's gay, and I said, yeah. So what's the problem? And I was going, yeah, exactly. He's not being how could he be homophobic? He's doing that. And then I was telling her all about what happened, and then she went, oh, he sounds really funny. I'll have to go watch him. I said, yeah, exactly. I said, he's good. I said, it was
It's a shame she couldn't make it today, but before the end of the month.
Building your
But
audience.
just a huge waste of time because someone that didn't like me thought, no, go and do that. Because the interesting thing was, I got a glowing report for that show the next day, and then 2 weeks later, staff had changed their stories. So I'm not necessarily sure, well, I do know what had gone on, but we'll leave it there. It was a long time ago. But you just kind of think, God, I was only going to my work.
Yeah.
You know, and it wasn't because when the police got in touch with me, she went, you're being accused of being homophobic. And I went, oh, bitch, please. I'm really tired. This is ridiculous.
yeah.
But if you think, because John Hastings was interviewed, you were interviewed.
yeah.
It was just such a huge waste of time.
It's surreal, though, isn't it? When you're in a situation like that, just going, has everybody lost their minds? What are we actually doing here?
I have to say, it was in the run-up to my 40th birthday, and I was really, really stressed about it. Really stressed, because although I knew I hadn't done anything wrong, you know, my mum's 82. She doesn't need to hear her homosexual son that she barely tolerates as being homophobic to other people. You know, she brought me up to be a nice girl. Anyway, Patrick, your show...
Listen, on behalf of Bruce, there was nothing wrong with that. It was very good homophobic. I mean, the racist stuff, the sexist stuff, that was terrible.
What can you do? What can you do? Could you say I'm joking again, just for the listeners?
Joking again.
That's fine.
I'll see you at King's Cross Police Station.
Actually, sorry, just
I'm at King's Cross for different reasons.
Talking of joking, so these are my soon-to-be son-in-law's parents.
Oh, brilliant.
Gareth Much's mum and dad.
Yeah.
Now, Rob has a little story about you that I'm going to... that you were doing a gig at some point somewhere in the TV ad, and you had something about the posh people feed their horses cornetos. Do you remember that?
Wow. The dogs.
Oh, but dogs.
Yeah.
Feed the dogs cornetos.
Wow. That is yours. I can't even remember the whole thing. But yeah. Yes. Yeah.
So
Sorry,
yes, so
are
he came
you
with a
Welsh?
punchline. Yes.
Oh my God!
Yes.
Interlopers, it's all happening.
Yeah, we're all here.
Yes, so
Yes.
I think you go to the audience and he'd already primed her and then she gave you the answer.
Yeah. Oh my God,
So-
I can't even. I was
And you
thinking,
can't remember the
wow,
joke?
but I
I
can't
love-
remember the joke. But I remember it was like because they're so posh, aren't they? Where they were, and it was Can you remember it? It was something about because it was a true story I'd seen in the park. Go on. And it was about where, when your dog was thirsty or whatever in the hot weather, and they said, "Oh, I'll normally give it whatever, you'll give it like put some ice cubes in the water." And the posh people would just bring out cornetos or whatever. And I've seen some people bringing out like magnums. Here's a Magnum Gold for the dog or whatever like that. Not realising dogs can't have chocolate, but yeah, wow, well done. I need you to come and do my show for me.
Like
Where
the
is your
jokes.
show?
Oh, I'm at Just the Tonic, 8 o'clock in just up the road on the Cowgate. So I've been at Gilded for years, you guys, and then this year we're at the Tonic. I love it on the Cowgate. It's crazy, isn't it?
It's such a good atmosphere down there. I
Yeah.
mean, when the Gilded was down there, it was a different beast again.
Oh,
but
well, I did. Do you remember? I've done that caves. This is how old I am. We're talking about. I was here. I remember doing this festival when this was all just fields. I was here back in the 50s, and it was like I remember doing Cowgate.
You were the farmer.
Yeah, I was the farmer. It was literally just me. It was just me.
Farmer Miriam.
Yeah. Me, one farmer, 3 pots of yogurt, 2 dogs, and a Cadbury's cornetto. That was what. Them were the good days of the festival.
Well, I know,
Ruined
the
now
good
by
old
commercialisation, isn't it?
how many festivals have you done?
God, I've done loads. I first came up because I didn't even know what the festival was. When I started in 2000s and literally just did a couple of gigs, and I was down south. I was in London, and everyone kept going. Are you going up to Edinburgh? I said, well, what's happening in Edinburgh? I was like, what? No, why were you going to Edinburgh for? Who's someone having a party? What's happening? And everyone go, oh no, there's stuff. And nobody explained it. They just went, oh, we just go to Edinburgh. So I didn't know what Edinburgh, and I couldn't afford to pay for a train ticket to come to Edinburgh. Everyone went to come up to Edinburgh in August. So I just got loads of gigs because I was in London then. I thought, there's no comics. There's about 1 million gigs, but there's no comics. And then I didn't realise up here, there's 1 million comics. That's where all the comics are. So the following year, 2001, I came up and it was a competition They don't do it anymore. You remember the Daily Telegraph? Do you remember the? Yes.
Telegraph.
And the ITV one. There was.
I came in on the mic or something.
Oh,
what was take
Open
the mic?
That was it. Take the mic.
Was
the ITV one, and then the Daily Telegraph.
Oh, Karen Cockfield won Take
Yes.
the Mic.
Yes.
And
Where is she now?
Karen, do you remember Karen?
Well,
John
that's what I'm
Scott.
asking. Where
John
is she?
Scott won it one year as well.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Nice.
and John,
John
Scott won it.
yeah.
Do you remember Karen?
Yeah,
What
she was
happened to
lovely.
her?
Yeah. I can't remember. Do you know what? I think I might have bumped into her about 10 years ago, again, back probably near where the caves were.
Oh.
But I think she's lovely, Karen. I don't know if you ever seen. Yeah.
Oh, was she?
Who, Karen Cockfield?
When you won it?
Yeah.
Well, it was £15,000 or something, wasn't it? It was
Show Me the Funny was, so what they did was, everyone was going, oh my God, it's great. You get the DVD, you get 100 grand or whatever, you get all this thing, but it was all tied in. So basically what would happen is, you get the money, but the problem was, the DVD was part of that deal where they take all that, so they take the royalties. Not that I would have done it anyway for £1,000, or I would have done it for £500. It was a laugh, wasn't it? Good exposure, and you just get to go to different places. And it was so funny because on that show, I mean, look, you'd have a right laugh. On that show, this is what they went like this. We're going to take you to 6 tough gigs.
Yeah.
These were the challenges. One of them was like playing to nurses. One was like at schools, whatever. One was the army. And I thought, we've done worse gigs. Yeah, one was rugby. Go and do a gig on a Friday night in Glasgow Jongleurs. That would have been
Exactly.
rougher, wouldn't it? These gigs, they were all like,
Yes.
these
Yeah.
gigs that we did were actually quite nice. They had a couple of drinks each. They're only allowed to have 2 drinks. And everyone was...
It's a CSE gig, that, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And they're so well behaved because there's cameras on them, so they're not going to start...
But that's the thing, because Glasgow Jongleurs was notoriously rough, and I did tell you one Christmas some guy tried to finger me. Like, seriously, we
On
were
stage?
standing... Honestly, no, I was standing, waiting for the interval, right? The next thing, I felt a hand come down, and then I was digitally probed, and I just turned round and I said, whoever that is, I'm about to pick up a glass and slam it into your face. And he went, oh, I thought because you were gay it was okay.
What?
I went, do you know what? Off, and yeah, seriously.
Because I remember with
If
the...
you want to stand up, I can recreate.
No. That is crazy.
That's awful.
Yeah.
Because I remember speaking to Jo Caulfield about it, and she went, my God, if that was a woman, the police would
Oh,
have been
yeah,
called.
of course,
the last
yeah.
thing I wanted to do was be in there longer than I was being paid.
No, exactly.
It was a hell. The money was good for a reason. Because
Yeah.
it genuinely was danger money.
Yeah.
Particularly with those Christmas gigs. There was a reason you were paid £600.
Yeah.
Do you remember them Christmas gigs? Look, the rest of the year, some of them gigs weren't so bad, but at Christmas time, and again, we've all done, you've probably seen them, it was...
Carnage.
I've never seen amazing... Like, you get to see, like, these people who've been going... who are bulletproof. We call them bulletproof on the set. Like your Jeff Innocence or your...
Mike Guns and-
Mike Gunn. And it was the other guy, Christian Riley, with the guitar. They're bulletproof whenever it happens. And at Christmas, it was hilarious. I've never seen anything like it, where there's massive... 400 people, you couldn't even see right to the back of the room. And the people aren't even facing the right way. You're walking in, they're throwing potatoes at each other's, and you bring it, and then each of these acts comes on. You might as well stand at a bus stop and do your set. You go, I'm getting more of a reaction here.
That was the thing, that you would go on and they would like kind of be dying in the front row, like genuinely choking on their own vomit and all this kind of stuff. And it really was just, it was howling and pissing in the wind. Patrick, we've barely even covered your show. Where are you on again?
So
Tell the people.
I am at Just the Tonic, up the road.
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
What's it called?
And it's called Classy. So
Classy.
like classy.
Classy
So
with a Y,
it's
not with
classy
an
with a Y.
ecstasy tablet.
Yeah.
Right.
Not with
Oh,
I love
drugs
Jojo. The way
again.
Jojo.
I hope we're
Not
shut
with
down by the
MTVs.
police.
Not with
Patrick, thank you for joining us.
Thank
A
you
pleasure
very
as
much.
always.
Jojo.
Mr. Patrick
Jojo.
Monaghan.
See you guys. Thank you.
Oh,
Well, there we go. Well, that's us for another day. I'll see you tomorrow.
I will see you tomorrow.
Yes.
Well, fingers
good
crossed.
show.
Fingers
Have a good show.
crossed. Thank you, Sodo. 2555.